Yes, I'm a few minutes late. I'm allowed. It's my TV show. I can show up anytime I want. And the funny thing is, unless you're on the TikTok, the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, you didn't even know that I was going to show up. So me showing up is a surprise. It's a surprise, huh? So welcome everybody. Smiles, everyone smiles. It's like Abbott Elementary. Nice to see you. I hope those pups have quieted down. I hope you're having some fun doing stuff. And yeah, let me just write down one thing. Shifting gears. There we go. What did I write down? It says, cluttered and want to get unstuck? I can help. Follow my page 2, thanks. So hey, here I am. So as I mentioned, if you are on the destination, this is so funny. My desk is cluttered right now because I have had a morning of coaching, which I love. Oh my God, I love it. I love sharing with people tools and resources and literally a step-by-step method for doing these things. Now, here's a funny thing, Abbott Elementary. Since we know each other, this is something I would like you to check. You don't have to do it right now, but for whatever reason, when I've been doing these TikTok lives this week, it is giving me these prompts to say, calling people out to say, join my team. I assume that means following my TikTok page. So I don't know if that means it or not. So Abbott Elementary, it says that you haven't joined my team. So if you can check, and again, no pressure. I mean, we meet one-on-one, so you know how to get in touch with me. Can you check to see if you are actually a follower of my page? Because if you are, I want to hear about that. And if you're not, I want to hear about it too. Erin, nice to see you. Nice to see you. I listened to some podcasts yesterday on my way up to Allentown and on my way back. So thank you for kind of curating a list to keep me company. I used to listen to podcasts a lot when I was on the road. I used to write books about road trips. So I was on the road a wicked lot, as my odometer would attest. And so I used to listen to podcasts a lot. I used to actually listen to over and over again, like books on tape, things like that. Okay. Yep. And I love it. Erin's using her mug now. Here, cheers, dear. Clink. Now, I love hearing how people explain the stuff that I also am coaching about, because this is the fun thing to me about coaching is that here, you know what? Here, I gotta interrupt myself. I'm gonna get bugged if I can't find my paper clip. A little bit of ADHD goes a long way, doesn't it? But here's a fun thing. So I'm looking for a paper clip and talk about a container. Abbott Elementary, we were talking about containers. I mean, I love containers. Look at all the containers back here. But what I also have is, this is so cool to me. This is a glass jar from Fluff, from Fluffernutters, from Marshmallow Fluff that's made in Lynn, Massachusetts. I love these jars, and so I keep my paper clips in them, and I even taped a paper clip on top so when I go reach for it, because it's under my desk, I can feel that and know that it's the jar with my paper clips in it, because I have another jar here too. But I digress. What I was going to say is, honestly, what I coach and how I coach is not unique to me. The content is not unique, okay? What it is my interpretation, and my presentation, you know? And that's different for everybody. You can have the same message, and depending upon the words you use, the tone you use, the stories you use, the context, all of that can make a difference in how people receive your message. Now, I know this because when I was trying to find kind of self-help help out in the world, I was taking recommendations from everybody. I took a recommendation from my tax preparer. And so I was like, sure, if she thinks this guy is good, I'll try it. And I was not desperate, but I was like, I'll take anything. Like, who is this guy? And it was really interesting because what I learned of listening to him, I could suss out the message with what he was saying, but I didn't like his words. I didn't like his presentation. And so I pulled the good, I decluttered really. I pulled the good out and left the bad behind. I took the messages that resonated with me and helped me, but man, was it a difference when I found somebody who spoke a language that resonated with me. And that's not just English. When somebody was having fun, when there was somebody who I felt comfortable with, that I could easily understand what they were saying. And it's funny because I just got off a coaching call with somebody, and I said, I won't use the jargon. I could get very jargony and very life coachy. I have an aversion to that stuff myself. That's why I work so heavily in metaphor and interpretation. Okay? Because that's how I learn. I learn with story. I learn with visual. Not that I have to, decide, okay, is that my id or my ego or my super ego? Or is that a belief? Or is that a thought? Or is that a, whatever the thing is. That kind of wording takes me too long to define it. I'd rather say, what would I do if I was in my car? It's just quicker. So, okay, so Erin is saying, creators team in lives. It costs viewers 1 TikTok coin to join. Oh, I see. Oh, thank you, Erin. Yeah, I have no idea about that. I will be honest with you guys. I am kind of like that. My approach to a lot of things is use the tool for what I need to use it for, and use it that way over and over again. There may be all sorts of bells and whistles. I'm thinking of my cell phone. I'm thinking of our TV. Heck, probably even like my computer right here. That there are so many other things that these things do, and TikTok is just one of them, that there's so many other things that they're like, you should do this and you should do that. Nah, I like to keep it simple. Because you and I, let's keep it simple. Let's not make it difficult. If it costs you money to join my team, screw that. I don't want you to join my team unless you want to. I didn't even know I had a team until you just said that. So anyhow, I share that with you because I am, as you can see, a pretty casual person. I am Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. And I coach people. I help people with their clutter. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered because I love to travel. I've written books on road trips, and that notion of treating your decluttering or your life more like a road trip and less like a commute really, really, really changed my life. And so I have been able to change my life in the last many years, and it has been a journey. I don't like it when I hear when people tell me it's going to be hard work to do something. I did the hard work. I'm like, I don't want to do hard work. If it's going to be hard work for me to do something, I may not do any of it. But if somebody tells me it's not going to be that bad, it's going to be fun, it's going to be easy, work at a pace that works for you, then the barrier is lowered. I am more likely to show up and experiment with those things. And then when I do that, I inevitably find out that these things are not so bad. Now, I say that about decluttering. You may be like, oh, it's going to be hard work. I have to work hard at that. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. I think it's fun. I do. You're working with your brain instead of against it. Your brain is going to notice patterns of stuff that you have in your house. Your brain is going to notice categories. Your eyes are going to notice colors you like. You're going to discover. You're going to go on a treasure hunt. You're going to find treasures in your house. Doesn't that sound a lot better than it's hard work versus it's a treasure hunt? We're going to have some fun. We're going to experiment and play around. Now, that's how I approach. Maybe you want it to be hard work. You want to suffer for it, Damn it, Donna. I love it. So, yeah, I love this. So, Tara's saying, I just organized my bathroom, and it was such a load off. Take a load off, Fanny. And it was worth every bit. Every bit of whatever you did, it was worth it. What was that? Because I'm worth it. I don't know, some old cartoon. Okay. Good morning, Christine. Or I guess it's still morning work for you. So nice to see you. I just want to share with you. There are some things in life, that are tough. And that are going to be a little bit difficult. But any time you can make things feel easier, it's going to lower your resistance to actually getting into it and started it. Okay, now Erin's gonna do the same thing right now. So Erin's going into her bathroom. Don't be nosy, people. She's going to shut the door, but she's only decluttering. And I bet what Erin is going to do is she is going to open up a drawer or a door, or even start on the surface. What's that surface where your sink is? and look at the stuff you have, and then you're going to categorize it. Here are all my lipsticks. Here are all my mascaras. Here's all my lotions. Here's all my tweezers. Whatever you have more than one of, you have a collection of. So start to notice the things that you have collected, those categories. When you categorize your stuff, then you get to decide which are the ones I use. There's a category of your items that I use all the time. Now, as you can notice, and boy, when I see videos of myself from last year when I was doing TikTok lives, you will tell that I have totally slacked off on the wearing of the makeup and getting myself all dolled up to do TikToks. That's okay. I still have makeup, but the makeup that I use is in a small bag and I don't use it as much. But when I need it, boom, it's right there. Okay? Now I love this. Tara found a container solution, which I'm always like, what was it, Abbott Elementary? Stuff first, sorting first. You got to sort it before you store it is really my sassy way of saying it. After you have sorted your stuff to only the things you know you want to use and you're using and they haven't expired, then you can buy containers that fit your space. Now for Tara, they are the clear, narrow containers from Walmart, and now everything has its place. Now, I will offer this, that yes, containers have a place in the process. Look at me, I just showed you my container of paper clips. But do not, please, I always feel like, for the love of God, do not buy containers before you have stored your items. Excuse me, before you have sorted your items. Let me repeat that correctly. Please do not acquire containers until you have sorted your items. You have to sort it before you store it. Now, I say this because you may not need as many First of all, containers will not solve your clutter problem. They will only contain it. Garbage in, garbage out. Clutter into a container is still clutter in a container. A better way to do it, a more long-lasting way, is to sort your stuff and decide what you want. And then afterwards, you see the quantity of things. Think about it. If I had, and I'm going to exaggerate for effect, if I had 100 lipsticks and I bought a container to fit 100 lipsticks, but I really only used 7 of them, 7 lipsticks, I'm going to have a giant container that's going to be empty. But if I go through my 100 lipsticks first and I realize I only use 7, I will purchase a different container. And when I have contained that, when I realize about myself that I only use those few things, then when I buy a container to fix it, or to fit it, then I will also kind of, in a good way, keep myself on the straight and narrow. Because I will know that I don't use 100 lipsticks. I only use this many. So if I only have the room, the container will help me contain my spending. It's like people with big houses are able to ignore their clutter for a lot more times because they have more space to spread out. Notice that containers can work for you, but only at a certain part of the process. Okay? Now, I love this. Phoenix for Fire decluttered my Doom desk. For those of you not ADHD, I will translate. Doom is an acronym. Didn't organize, only moved. But it also gives you that doom feeling because we are affected by the words we use. Decluttering my Doom desk, a small pile at a time. Chef's kiss, a little bit at a time. Took your advice and it's easier. I mean, not to show off about my advice, but I try to make things easier because I want things easier. Putting it into files. I love this. Tara, when she was going through her bathroom, says, tossed a lot of expired items. This is a wonderful thing, especially when you're going into the stuff in your bathroom and the stuff in your kitchen. Many things will have like a best used by date. You will notice that sometimes you have inadvertently over-purchased items and then you don't use them within that allotted time. To me, that always seems to come up with like mayonnaise in the kitchen. That no matter how much, like sometimes it feels like a better value to buy the bigger one because it's almost not as much, you know how it's like cheaper per ounce than the small one? But then if we don't use that amount of mayonnaise, we're literally throwing money away because it goes bad before we use it. So it's a better use of our money to buy the smaller one. But notice the things in your kitchen and in your bathroom that might have those externally placed expiration dates that takes the guesswork out of, is this thing still good? Okay. Tara said, tossed a lot of expired items and sorted everything. Now I have a system. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Okay. Now, a couple of things. I'm just backing up. Okay. Sam is asking, why is it so hard to get rid of stuff? Now, everybody's answer to that will be slightly different. So I will give you some examples of what some of your answers might touch on. Okay. Notice I say touch. One of these might resonate, might sting a little bit more than the others. What I like to think of in the very basic, simplest of terms is it can feel hard, feel like a struggle to get rid of things because of the thoughts in your head. The words in your head can make it difficult for you to release items with your hand. Now, you know what? The in-between of your head and your hands is your heart. So the interplay between your head and your heart, your thinking brain and your feeling brain, your brain and your heart, and what goes on up here and in here definitely makes it easier for you to let go of things or more difficult. So that's going to be a little bit different. But what I will say is, and I just got off a coaching call and I've been coaching all morning because I do one-on-one coaching with people, is you've got what I like to call, and I feel like I should get one, but I don't want the bad luck of opening up an umbrella. So just imagine you have an umbrella in your house and it's right next to you and it's on the one side. You're holding it with one hand and this is your umbrella of fear. My premise and my working kind of image in my head when I'm coaching is when your hand is clinging on to something, it's because of fear. It's because of all the things that are underneath the umbrella of fear. The thoughts, the words, the feelings, the actions. The action of fear is to not do anything. So if you're frozen, if you're not getting away from things, if you're stopped, if you're overwhelmed, however you want to call it, if you're not actively taking an action and releasing items, it could most likely be traced back to fear. Keeping it wicked simple. On the other hand, this is I always want to say, there's another hand. There's always another hand. There's always another side to the coin. There's always a little flip side to the 45 RPM record. Okay? You've got the umbrella of love. It's a rainbow. It's like, all you need is love. It's like that, the end of Beatles' Yellow Submarine. It's an umbrella, and it's, it's a beautiful umbrella because it's got love underneath it, and it's got compassion and curiosity and opportunity and possibility and all these fun things, and your destination is under that umbrella. Now, if you're feeling love and possibility and encouragement and not fear but love, it will be easier for you to release items. So if you are saying to yourself, and this phrase can also make it hard, but listen to your answer. Write down whatever comes up, as I say, whatever comes up, and notice I say up. It's kind of from your heart to your brain. Whatever comes up, write it down. Capture the insight that you have in you, and what's your answer to your question of why is it so hard for me to get rid of stuff? And then you can learn from it. Okay? Now, I love it. Christine didn't know the DOOM acronym. Yeah, didn't organize, only moved. Damn it, Donna. After a major hurricane, I wrote on my hand in permanent marker, need versus want, and it helped me. Sherry is saying produce, and I'm thinking this is when I was just talking about the kitchen. Yeah, noticing what you think you're going to be the person who's going to eat all this healthy stuff, and then you open up and you're like, oh, I don't want to eat lettuce. I have an issue with salads. My friends know this about me because I grew up in a diet household. I'm trying to undo it. Clutter in fridge is tough too. Sharpie open dates on packages. Yeah. Catherine, I love this because she says having a system equals peace. Who doesn't want to feel peaceful? I want to feel peaceful. You want to feel peaceful? Does your house allow you to feel peaceful in it right now? If it doesn't, let's fucking do something about it, people, okay? Seriously. Your house is probably where you spend a wicked lot of time. It's where you wake up in the morning, unless you're sleeping at somebody else's house, hubba hubba. And it's what you see before you go to bed at night. In between those two things that you do, you're probably walking around your house feeling a certain way when you go through all the rooms. Now, I love to, as I like to say in the jargon, I don't like to say it, but like activate, light up that problem state. How does it look now? take a good look. Take your blinders off and really look at your house. Notice how that feels. But then back away from it and say, wait a minute, this is my little traffic cop hand. This is distance, you know? You're getting yourself distance. When somebody's up in your face, you get some distance from it. And you say, instead of looking at it like that and feeling like that, what would I rather feel when I walk in my house? How do I want that home to look? How do I want my home to feel? Or better yet, how do I want to feel in my home? You know? How do I want to feel in my home? Now, I love this. Nursey Nita says, I got rid of one bookcase, donated a ton of books to the library, and sent all something. It's not there. Okay? Now, Nursey Nita, I hope that feels better for you. Oh yeah, got rid of one bookcase, donated a lot, have room to put another bookcase. Books are in stacks. Okay, yeah. You're going to notice that interplay between items and storage units. Here's a crazy place I've been in, and I am telling you, I grew up in a bookcase household. My parents got bookcases installed in their home. Now, we don't have any installed, but we have purchased bookcases or shelving units from like Lowe's or IKEA or like vintage stores to have a place to store our stuff. What I love right now is that we are doing such a good job of eliminating what we don't need, that part of what we're eliminating now are shelving units. Because to me, the more opportunity you have for storage, the easier it is to kind of fall back into habits of collecting too many things. I don't want to do that, so every time we do that, it's like, okay, let's remove that shelf. Because when you have space, it's a lot harder for you to kind of keep on the straight and narrow. Okay? There was something somebody said. Catherine says, peace for me has come at a price. It's the ultimate goal every day. Okay, well, I think peace is pretty awesome. I would pay for, instead of pray for peace, which is what they used to have grown into the shrubs in front of the church that I used to go to as a kid. Pay for peace. How much would you pay for peace in your head, in your heart, in your body, in your life, in your house? How much would you pay? But wait, there's more. How about these Ginsu knives? What's the price that you would want to pay for that piece? Now, sometimes you can pay money for it. You know, you go get a massage. That gives you peace for like an hour and it feels good. Sometimes you pay for it in your time. You know, you take time to go away to the mountains and you feel peace because you're away from your house. Sometimes we pay with energy. You invest your energy in decluttering that little space in your house and now you sit there and you feel better. Notice the different ways in which you pay for things and what we invest in. If it's an investment, it will create more of. That's what an investment does. It's not just buying a TV off the shelf at Target. That's not an investment because you'll never be able to sell that TV for equal or more than. An investment is putting money into something that's going to give you dividends. It's like the stock, not even the stock market, like something that's guaranteed. You put your certain amount of money in, and then you get back out more than you put in. Okay? So think about that. Oh, this is so weird. I'm going to try. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Thank you, Judy Porter, for the flower. Here we go. Okay, Nursey Nita cannot get the books onto the shelves. Okay, you need to do one of two things then. It's up to you. You need to decrease the amount of books you have or increase the amount of shelves. But here's the deal. I come from a book family. You know why? Because my parents equated books in your house with being smart. My parents loved to read. I love to read. Do not get me wrong. However, I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons why I may never write a book called Destination Decluttered, unless somebody pays me a wicked lot of money, and even then I'm going to get some help doing the writing, I'll be honest with you, is I realize that in this post-paper world, in this digital world, that there are other ways to learn things than reading them in books. Look at me. I'm showing up on TikTok. I show up and I talk at my phone for an hour and people learn stuff. Maybe you write down what I say. Maybe you sign up for my coaching and we work together one-on-one. I say this because think about your books. Nursey Nita, think about, and not with judgment. See, judgment is under that umbrella of doom. Remember that? Remember that goth band Umbrella of Doom? We are more like the Beatles' Umbrella of Love, okay? I almost made a Xanadu reference, but I'm trying to stay focused. But that's where my brain went. Is ask yourself without judgment and with curiosity, will I ever read that book again? Could I live without that book? If I wanted to read it again, could I find it at the library? Am I going to really access all of these books? And then you pause and you listen for your answer for that one book. And then you lather, rinse, repeat. Now, I will be completely honest with you, okay? I will be completely honest with you. I have been a book person. I truly enjoy reading books. However, many of my books out in my bookcases, I rarely access. Now, this is the important part, considering containers. If I did not have 2 IKEA bookshelves that look good where they are, if I had none of those, if I was moving into someplace new and I did not already have the storage set up in my house, I most likely would not have as many books as I do, because I'm trying to fill the space that I have so it doesn't look empty. However, what I'm not doing too is so they look okay where they are. And yes, I have culled out the books that I do not want anymore. But I still have plenty of like a certain type or a certain author or a certain heading that I enjoy having. They bring me joy. But I am rarely adding to my book collection right now because my shelves are full. And I know that I will probably look at a book once or twice and not look at it as much as I used to when books were my only option. Now I get a lot of my inspiration and information from the internet. If I were to do it over, I would do it differently because I've changed since I was the person who lived back prior to the internet. But things have changed. So there's nothing wrong with rehoming your books. Okay? But notice the interplay between stuff and storage too. All right? Yeah, Phoenix for Fire says, I love the digital book technology. So funny, you say you hear the crows. You may hear crows outside of me. You know what I hear? This is me going from the deep end to the shallow end in like a hot minute. There's a dog that lives across the street. We call him Barky because when the weather is nice, all we hear is him barking. Man, it's hard to shut that down. Sometimes I just shut my windows. Now, Nursey Nita, awesome. Look at you. You gave 200 books away. I love that. I hope that feels good to you because here's the deal. I do not show up in your life to make you feel shame for the amount of things you have and to convince you that you're bad and you need to get rid of stuff. F that. If anything, if somebody did that to me, I would double down and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy even more. Yeah, it was stressful, but it felt great. So notice, it was stressful in the past. Let's talk about time travel. When you did it in the past, it felt stressful, but then it felt great. Nursey Nita, how about something in the present tense? How does it feel now? How do you feel now after having given 200 books away? How do you feel now? Saying, I gave away 200 books. How does that feel to you now? You don't have to answer me or put it in the comments. Oh, there you go. Boom. Feels awesome. Notice that gut check. And I say that because notice what's going to happen here. There will most likely be a short-term discomfort, an uncomfortable moment, and a moment when you are not comfortable that you're going to need to say and make that decision. I don't want to say that tough decision, but that decision to keep it or let it go. But check yourself in the future to say, I know I feel discomfort now, but in a week or two, how am I going to feel with still 200 books in my house? And in a week or two in the future, how am I going to feel having rehomed 200 books? Now notice I kind of was leading the witness with my rehoming verb, because the words we use have an effect on how we feel. If you're going to feel like you got rid of something, if you gave it away, you're forgetting what you're gaining. When you remove items at your home, the reason you're decluttering is not to lose items. If it is, that's like, oh no, why would I do that if I'm going to lose something? No. What's in it for you? That's your destination. Why am I doing this? Because I want something else. Thank you, Liz. Thank you for letting me know. Rehoming. Yeah, it's in your home. You read it. Give it another home. Get it out in circulation. Put it back out in the wild so somebody else can read that book you loved so much. You know? There we go. I feel great rehoming stuff. Out of sight, out of mind. And even better, Erin, because all of us know, out of sight, out of mind can even happen within our houses. How about out of house, out of mind? That makes sure, and out of my life, out of my mind, because I think out of house, oh yeah, then I'll just put it in the garage, or then I'll just put it. But notice that feeling, rehoming stuff. I don't want this, but maybe somebody does. Yeah, Nurse Anita, I gave my books to the library and sent all of my medical books overseas. Yeah, it means that I didn't waste it. Notice when you think of decluttering as wasting things, you're more likely to hang on to it because I don't want to see myself as somebody who wastes things. I am thrifty. I am clever. Yeah, I love it. Erin is saying, I never miss the stuff. And isn't it fun to be a person with even just the past year, Erin, to be a person who was clinging on to things, and now a year later after some coaching and just hanging out with yourself and quieting down your backseat drivers, who also may be your parents or your whoever, is being a different person, and you're not even missing that stuff you used to cling on to. Doesn't it feel better not to cling on? I need to clip my nails. I'm going to do it after this. Clip my nails. I feel like a dog going to the groomer. I need to cut my fingernails, but when I'm clinging on to something, it can feel painful. It can give me a hand cramp. I'm holding on to this stuff that I don't even want anyway. Loosen your bone, Wilma, which I hate the reference because Wilma didn't have the bone. Maybe she did. Betty, maybe she said Wilma. But I digress. Okay. All right, Rena. How do I keep my phone decluttered? I always have too many tabs open. You go to where your tabs are, you hit the button and it says close all these tabs and you say yes. Boom. Wicked easy. Pebbles had the bone. Thank you. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, it was a couple of, I have read this book, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero so much that I almost want to be like, hey, next time you do it, it was Pebbles who had the bone. It was not Wilma. Wilma had the dress with the rocks. Betty had the one with like the kind of the brooch and the red thing. Thank you, Erin. I knew you'd get it. Pebbles had the bone. Sounds like a good band name. Or a song at least. But notice Rena. So Rena was talking about my phone is decluttered. Now, digital clutter is different from physical clutter. I am a Gen Xer, so I know how much more physical clutter can affect how you feel. But notice how clutter on your phone can do it. Oh my God, my husband and I, we are like Jack Sprat and his wife, or we are like yin and yang when it comes to it. I am always updating my phone, keeping a minimum of tabs open, making sure that there's no red little identifiers. He delights in having 17,000 unread emails. Drives me crazy, but that's not my phone. Notice though, and this is with all clutter, notice why you have so many tabs open. Is it just by accident? Sometimes I don't realize how many tabs I have open because every time I access an external page on Safari, it opens up another tab. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I had no idea, but then I shut them. However, if you have tabs open because you're thinking, I don't have time to do this now, but I'm going to do it later. Now that's a really interesting thing. Okay? Now, I love this because Christine is saying that's me and my husband. Yeah, because you know what? A lot of opposites attract. Remember, was that Paula Abdul? Opposites attract? It's true. We bring out the best in each other and we bring out the worst in each other. You know? What about mail clutter? Second verse, same as the first, Tara. What did you do when you were in your bathroom? You categorized the things in your bathroom. You realized the things that were outdated that you didn't need anymore and you got rid of those. Do the same thing with your mail clutter. That's the knocking down of the quantity of mail that's probably accumulated, or the quantity of insert here. Knocking down the sheer number of stuff that has accumulated in your life is part of the decluttering process. It's usually, though, the part that everybody always thinks about. However, there's also a second part, which is to change your habits of what you do when your mail comes in. To change your habits of what you do now that your bathroom is organized, is what do you do on the daily to make sure you maintain that organization, to maintain that decluttering. And that is change of habit, not just an Elvis movie starring Mary Tyler Moore as a nun. Changing your habits when your mail comes in. You can start this today. Everybody on this call could do something different when their snail mail comes into their mailbox today. Okay? Now, here's a funny thing. Now, Phoenix Rising says, I have the same problem, Rena. Pinterest boards. You can create a board and save it there. I need to do that, okay? And as far as mail goes, I found an online registry to sign up for a no mail list for marketing lists. It was like $5. I think I did that for my mother too. You can also, okay, so this is mail, like old school paper mail and snail mail. You can do the same thing. And actually, thank you for reminding me, because no lie. Reach over here. Well, I can't. There's too much stuff in the envelope. I just visited my mother, and I called up all these places and said, please remove me, pretended to be her, from your snail mail mailing list. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. She's still getting some things, so I'm going to take the time to change it, to call them up and say, to make sure that these are just the remnants, the dribs and drabs, and they're going to sort it out. But notice what I just said there. I am going to take the time. I am going to make the time to do this thing that in the short term feels uncomfortable and just a little pain in the ass, and I'd rather do something else. But it has a long-term benefit. It's an investment in the kind of future that I want my mother to have, which is a person who is not overwhelmed by spam mail, both in her email box and in her regular mailbox. Okay? Yeah. Damn it, Donna says you can write stop the mail, removes the junk mail, and that can be in both of the things, you know? Yeah, it worked, and much less junk mail comes in. Yeah. Okay. Now here's an interesting thing. Yeah. Okay. Kay Louise says, I had to stop scanning Pinterest. It made me feel like all this Pinterest stuff I had to do. Here's a funny thing, you guys, and I will share this with you. Never mind Pinterest. Do you ever bookmark anything here on TikTok? Ooh, I really like this. I'm going to put a bookmark on it. I did. I have like 2,000 of them because I want to save things for later. I do that. I want to save things that have inspired me. What I started doing recently, and I'll share this with you because maybe you haven't done it, is I noticed that there were certain categories. This is digital decluttering. Categories of TikTok posts that I have bookmarked. And a couple of my categories are inspirational sayings like Abraham Hicks. Another one is recipes. Another one is vacation destinations. Another one is memories, like stuff when they show things from, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm like, ooh, anytime I want to access that, I know where it is. Now, I didn't realize I could organize those things from the get-go, and maybe it's a functionality they recently introduced. But now that I know that I can organize them, I do two things. I keep on going in to make sure most of my stuff, because I'm going back like 2000, so I do a little bit at a time, and I add things to the certain folders. Also, now I know that when I go to bookmark something on TikTok, it says manage, and when I hit the manage button, it says, do you want to put it into any one of these folders? And I can either put it into one of the existing folders or I can create a new one. So look at what I'm doing. I'm organizing what I've already collected here on TikTok. And when I collect more things on TikTok, I am organizing them into folders. And then ideally, and this is part of the process too, I don't just set it and forget it. I just don't collect these things and keep on going on and accumulating. I turn back and I like to say, I used to say this to my dad all the time, play with your toys. The stuff that you have collected, hang out with it. The reason you collected it was, collecting is fun, but do something with that information. What is the stuff that you've collected telling you? And do those things. I know, honestly, that I have a lot more travel I want to do. So whenever I see a travel place that I'm like, ooh, I want to go to the Maldives. Ooh, I want to go to Bora Bora. Ooh, I want to go to that place in Chicago. I can go back and be like, okay, where's that detail-y stuff that I can use for my trip? Okay? Now, Tara says, we don't have recycling paper here. I feel bad trashing it. Now, this is something that I've heard said different ways, but I think recently I found somebody on TikTok saying the same thing. So I will share this with you. Okay? There are two places this mail can be. It's either in I hate to say it, but it's going to be in a landfill if you don't have recycling. It's going to be in a landfill or it's going to be in your house. Which one feels better for you? It's going to go. When you die, it's going to go into the landfill anyway. So what's your choice? Do you want to keep it in your house so it doesn't go in a landfill? Or if you put it in a landfill where it's going to go anyway, you will feel better in your house. Now, trust me, I am all about recycling and reusing when you can, like nobody's business. But at a certain point, your tiny bit of paper that's going into a landfill is a drop in the ocean of how many people in the world and how many companies in the world waste so many things. This is not to disinspire you, discourage you from putting your things in the trash and feeling okay about it, but it's just to put it into perspective. So I hope that helps. Now, Yoli says, I'm a widow, and I don't like looking at the mail since my husband passed away, so I have a lot of mail. Notice the association. When you see the mail, it lights up the part of your brain that reminds you of your husband, and that makes you feel bad right now, so you try to avoid it by not even looking at the mail, and you've let it accumulate. Now, I was just working with a one-on-one client. I work with people a lot when they have paper sorting and organizing and decluttering issues, realizing that the more you pile up, the worse things can get. If there's a little, it's almost like letting something get infected before you deal with it, instead of just noticing that it's noticing it when it's small. Okay? So, yeah, Erin, 1,000 bookmarked recipes that I will never make. Yeah, me too. But then again, I look at my husband, you should make this. Yeah, I don't make them, but it's fun to look at, and it's fun to think of, ooh, that would be tasty to eat. It also can refine certain flavors that you like, so maybe that will inform a restaurant you go to. You know? Yeah, and it is hard to deal with the mail that when a loved one has passed, because the mail comes that if it's addressed to them, you will be like, oh, that's right. Oh, he's no longer here. You're being reminded all the time that that person's no longer here, and who the F wants to be reminded of that all the time? You know? Yeah, and doing it now removes the burden. I love this, Christine, spot on. Doing this now for you, so not only you can enjoy a decluttered home while you're living, which is so important, also it removes the burden. You're helping somebody else. You are helping somebody else and frees somebody else from the burden of putting it in landfill when you're gone. Okay? Erica, nice to see you. So just think of this as a win-win. You will feel better with less stuff in your house. The sooner you get it out of your house and into someplace else, the sooner you feel better, and the sooner it can connect up. If it's still something that's worth, donating or selling, the sooner you connect it up with somebody's, somebody who wants it, the better you feel. Okay, LBD, nice to see you. Here's what I'm doing. So case in point, 2 things I am doing declutter-wise. Now, as I mentioned, I am a decluttering life coach. So it would be foolish of me to also have a really cluttered home. So I'm kind of running out of my own clutter. My husband, on the other hand, let me tell you, I'm going to try to help him with his stuff, but sometimes I got to tread lightly because I also want to preserve my relationship with him. So I can be kind of a bull in the china shop to be like, okay, let's just get this freaking done, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it doesn't work. Slow and steady. What I am doing, though, is I am working on my own stuff first. And I have a very tiny table in the basement with things that are very, whatever, that I have to deal with. It's so funny. I was just looking around for my phone, realizing I'm also talking right into it because I'm like, shit, where's my phone? I'm like, oh, it's right here. What I am going to do, though, is 2 things I just mentioned, okay? I am helping my aging mother with her clutter because the clutter overwhelms her. Now, I have ADHD. It runs in my family, both diagnosed and treated and undiagnosed and treated and all flavors in between. Okay? And, where's my phone? It's almost like, where's my glasses? I'm wearing my glasses. I am doing 2 specific things that I just mentioned for decluttering that you can do too. One is when I was up at my mother's house last week, I took any of the junk mail that she got in because I asked her to save it for me, and I am going to make the time in my life to call up these places to say, and this is my thing, I did a TikTok video about it so you can look back up, but saying, hey, I'd like to be removed from your paper mailing list. Is this something you can help me with? Pretty much every piece of mail you've got in your mailbox that's spam will have an 800 number that you can call. If they aren't the person, they will connect you with somebody who can, and kind of by law, they're supposed to unsubscribe you. So I am going to declutter my mother's mailing box by doing that. I am also going to, because I took some pictures of some items in her home that she is feeling ready to possibly let go of. Now, we learned the hard way. When my dad passed, he had some books that he collected when he was alive. And when he collected them, he spent a lot of money on them. So we had the same thought. Well, he paid this amount for these books, So we should be getting this or even more because they're even older. Nope. I share this as a cautionary tale, okay? I share this as a cautionary tale. When we went to go buy to sell his books, when we finally kind of got around to it, when we felt ready, when the stars aligned, basically when I became a decluttering coach and we're like, here, let's just deal with this stuff as opposed to ignoring it. The bottom had fallen out of the market. Nobody wanted those books anymore. We could not even give some of them away. We sold a handful of them for pennies on the dollar. And that felt kind of crappy. So lesson learned from me to you, from you to me, Pinky Lee, from me to you, okay, Pinky Lee, is to say, let me just see how much, if I'm holding on to items, I'm holding on to an item because I have a thought in my head that may be worth something someday. What if today is someday? Go look online. I have a few things I'm going to look up online to see if what my mother has is how much my parents paid for it or more or less, and make a decision based on that. I am going to send some pictures of some items that my mother's ready to let go of to people who might want them, to say, do you want these things? I am taking actions to get those things out of our lives and into somebody else's lives. Okay? So, just notice that. Rachel is asking, what is the best way to message you about coaching consultation appointment? Glad you asked, happy to help. Okay, this is how I roll. I'll give you my process. The best thing you can do right now to do that is to sign up for my Destination Decluttered free, no obligation, very low pressure email mailing list. How you do that, Rachel, is you go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, and you scroll down to the end of the homepage, and there's a form there that you put your email address in. You hit, I promise I'm not a robot, boom, you're in. What that will do is allow you first dibs, as I like to say, on all the good stuff. Like last night, we just had a free Zoom call. In October, we're going to do like what I call a decluttering party, where we get together on Zoom at a certain weekend, on a certain day, at a certain time, and we all kind of declutter something and check in with each other, like an accountability group. So you're not doing it by yourself. But also when you're on my mailing list, when you're on my website, and this is for everybody, if you're interested in coaching, you'll see like a tab that says work with me. There is a big old orange button there that says like schedule your consultation. Now I can look at this right now, and I'm being totally big old orange button there that says like schedule your consultation. Now I can look at this right now, and I'm being totally transparent. Let me see. Is usually what I would say is go to that page and sign up for a consultation. And then that's formally how you and I get to do a consultation. And let me tell you what you're consulting for is I do one-on-one coaching with clients. I coach on Zoom on my computer, not on my phone because it's wicked tiny. And I sell, my product, my coaching is a 10-session paid coaching package. 1 hour session, an hour a week at a certain time of day and day of the week that works for you for 10 sessions in a row for as long as you want. I have clients who have done one session, one package. I have clients that are on their second, their third, their fourth, and their fifth package because they enjoy the process, they are making progress, and this works for them. So I give you that as an option, but the only thing I do, paid coaching-wise, or coaching-wise at all, is a 10-session paid package. Now, when we get on the coaching call, I don't want to scare you off or just make you have a price be like a barrier. So what we discover on that consultation call is what you're struggling with and if my coaching can even help. Because if my coaching can help, I'll tell you about the coaching. I'll share all that with you so you can make an informed decision. But if it isn't something I can help with, why bother you with things like that? But I don't want the fact that it's a paid coaching thing to stop you. That's why I currently don't put my price on my website. What I will tell you is that my coaching right now is the least expensive it will ever be. It is not cheap. It is a value, okay? I'm not saying it's not cheap. I'm saying it's not like a chunky piece of stuff. But when you sign up for me, whenever you sign up for me, you're signing up at the lowest price that I'm currently offering. And you are, I like to say, grandmothered in. So even if you want to go for another package and another package and another package and another package, you never need to worry about paying more because you won't. So that's a little bit getting into the price, but just to let you know, 10 sessions, paid coaching. I would say, like you said, there we go. I love it. Christine just said, Beth's coaching is the path to peace. 10 out of 10, highly recommended. Thank you, dear. I love that because we are coaching together. You know, Erin says, you will not regret it. Email list is great and consultation is free. Yes. Yes. So notice that. Now, normally, Rachel, I would have said, hey, go to my website where it says, click on me and select a consultation. You guys, the only consultation I have currently on my calendar is tomorrow, the 19th, at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. If you want that, go grab it. Other than that, I don't have a lot on my thing. But the neat thing is if you sign up for the mailing list, you will get first dibs. I will go, pss, 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 check it out before anybody. I added some consultations to the calendar. You can get them before anybody else. That's for people on the mailing list. The other thing too is sometimes when you're on the mailing list, I'll say, okay, I put a bunch of consultation times out there that work for me, but I may also be able to finagle some things. So if you look at that calendar and you're saying, crap, I really want to work with her, but none of these consultation slots work for me, you know how to get in touch with me because you're on my mailing list. I encourage you to get in touch with me, and then we will work together to find a time to work. Okay? Now, I love it. Guadalupe Lazzarini just said, just join the mailing list. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, again, if you want to join it, destinationdecluttered.com/join. There's there. Erin also says, Beth helped me discover why I was decluttered and how to ignore the backseat drivers in my life. Yeah. No, see, I make it fun because I talk about backseat drivers, right? Like, do you even know you have a backseat driver? Okay. You know, Rachel just said, just join the mailing list and I'd love to take the consultation tomorrow, but I have a conflict. No big deal. Here's the deal. And that's good that you looked. I will be adding more consultations, but I travel and I also have a fairly full coaching calendar with people already existing. So there are fewer slots. I am also a human being. And so my coaching, I don't offshore it to anybody else. And I don't have any automatic products that I sell. It's you and me as humans talking one-on-one. I love that. That's the part that brings me joy, not so much the making of the money. That's kind of incidental. So I don't have a lot of ancillary, unhuman products out there. I love the human connection. Now, since you're on my mailing list, you're going to be the first to find out when I do add consultation slots to the calendar. You will find out when we do that decluttering party the next couple of weeks. And for those of you who are my clients, and I consider everybody who's working with me currently and working with me in the past, you're always a client to me. And I mean this in the most fun ways, is I'm going to get in touch with you guys because you'll get first dibs on the weekend that I'm planning on doing this decluttering party. I want you to take a look at your calendar, and if it's something that interests you, I want to know which day will be better. Actually, I think I may have narrowed down the day, but what time would work for you? Because I have that kind of hierarchy. My paying clients get the best of the best. My free people on the email list get a lot of cool free stuff. And people who follow me on TikTok, you get to know when I'm doing these TikTok lives. That's another thing. If you're on my mailing list, I don't mean to sound like an infomercial, for the next couple of minutes, but you also know, everybody who just signed up for the mailing list, you now have access to find my schedule for my TikTok lives. I don't post it anymore here on TikTok. I use that as something that when you sign up for my mailing list, you find out about. And just as a heads up too, and I'm thinking of all these things that I'm going to do this afternoon between coaching sessions, is I recently just added some more TikTok lives to my personal schedule that I need to also share with my people. Okay? So, there we go. So Jolene Worth, hey, nice to see you. Couple of things. I have too much bathroom supplies like extra makeup. So Jolene, I'm going to only be on this TikTok live for another 3 minutes or so. But this is what I recommend, is we actually talked about this exact same thing at the beginning of this TikTok live about an hour ago. Okay? Now I say this to you not to be like, oh, darn, I missed it. But another thing you get when you sign up for my mailing list, because I like to give people cool stuff. I give and I give. Sign up for my mailing list. That will also get you access to the recordings of my TikTok lives, and you will get access to the most current ones. If you're not on my mailing list, you can go to Destination Decluttered on YouTube and see the ones from August of 2024 all the way back to probably like March of 23, if not earlier. However, if you want to, listen to the recording of today's one, Jolene, if you get on the mailing list at destinationdecluttered.com, you will have access to that immediately. And I just have to wait for TikTok to process this, and then I download it, and then I upload it to YouTube. Okay, so notice that. There we go. Christine says mailing list is free. Join the secret club. Yeah, why not? It's kind of fun. We get stuff done. We have some fun. So let me ask you this. I know myself. Part of what I was going to do today, because I scheduled it out, is I was going to show up from whatever noon to 1 to do a TikTok live. Mission accomplished. I also know that I have some coaching to do tonight, and then I'm going out and having some fun with some of my friends, and I have a window of opportunity literally from 1 p.m. right now, and I'm looking at my calendar right here, my daily calendar. This is something I also teach you how to do when we're coaching. I have an open window of time between now and my next kind of block of coaching. A number of things have come up on this call that I think I want to do with that time. So I ask of you, what do you want to do with the hours from the rest of your day? What are some tiny little things you can do, some simple, easy peasy things you can do today so that your house is ever so slightly less cluttery tomorrow? Now, I suggest surface clutter. Look at your surfaces in one room. Is there stuff that goes in the trash? Put it in the trash. And if you don't live in a recycle place, put your recycles in the trash and forgive yourself for it. You're doing the best you can with the resources you have. Don't feel bad about it. The stuff that you have on a certain surface that doesn't belong there, put it where it's supposed to be. If you don't have room to put it where it's supposed to be, then we talk about stored clutter. But you can do something. This is the message I would love to leave you with today. If there's something that's bugging you in your home or life, clutter-wise or otherwise, you can do something about it. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You can do something about the stuff that bugs you. Clutter is a nice way to start because you build the muscle and you get to see how your home looks better. You get to notice how it feels easier to live in a decluttered home. So I lovingly challenge you to say, hey, wait a minute. I have a finite amount of time on this planet. What can I do today to make sure that I have the life I want, even incrementally tomorrow? Okay? I love it. Speaking of this is really cool. So Erin just said, because Erin said at the beginning of this, she says, I played with my makeup and tossed 11 old items during this live. Okay? Here's a fun thing about me doing these TikTok lives, is they are a wonderful opportunity for you to take time out of your regular day and to use me chatting and keeping you company in the background to work on surface clutter. Now, they don't work as well for stored or sentimental because you got to listen to your own self with that, but you can do this. So if you want to know the next time I'm showing up, I know when it is. Boop. And so do my people on my mailing list. If you want to know the next time I do a TikTok live, sign up for my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. And if you don't want to find out, I'll see you when I see you, okay? I'm glad you enjoyed this, Christine. I will see you guys when I see you. And remember, you can do something about what bugs you, okay? Bye.